What's up, folks? Jacob Rob AJ here. Today I'm here to shoot an album review. This album is entitled La Gargola, and this is by Chevelle. With this album, it was just released today on April the 1st. It had 10 tracks. This was the Deluxe Edition, so it came with a CD and also a shirt as well. This was a Best Buy exclusive, so with the shirt you can only get it if you get it from Best Buy. Chevelle's last album, I did not like it. I wasn't impressed with it. So I had my doubts, getting this album and thinking about what it was going to sound like. I'm going to go through track by track and share my thoughts on this album. Track number 1 is entitled Ouija Board. With this track, I definitely thought it was my favorite track on the album. Definitely a great way to start out the album. And with Chevelle, I don't know what it is with their first tracks, but they always seem to draw me in. And this track definitely drew me in. I felt like this track had a great build up to the 25-second mark, which led into Pete's vocals. And then at the 103 mark, as soon as that part came in, I was like, you know what, my boys are back. So I was so hyped, just listening to it, and I definitely thought it had a great chorus. The lyrics when he says, "How could you show them your weakness?" Those lyrics have definitely stood out to me. I like the way the lyrics were structured in the song, and overall it was a great track. Track number 2 is entitled An Island. With this track, I thought the track was just okay overall. I did like the production and what they did in the intro of the track though. Track number 3 is entitled Out The Gunman. This was the very first track I heard on this Chevelle album. Kind of had like an older Chevelle sound to it. Track number 4 is entitled Jawbreaker. When Pete says the word Jawbreaker, it kind of sounds like he's having a breakdown. Track number 5 is entitled Hunter Eats Hunter. This was the second track I heard from the album. Love Pete's harmonizing from the 2:50 mark into the 3-minute and 1-second mark of the track. Track number 6 is entitled One Ocean. This was a track that kind of seems like it's not acoustic, but it kind of had that acoustic appeal to it. It felt like a lot of the track was stripped down and the vocals really stand out in the track. And I felt like if they ever do an acoustic album that this would be a good song to put on their acoustic album. Pete's vocals really stood out, and I felt like this could either be the last track on the album or the second to last track on the album. Track number 7 is entitled Choking Game. With this track, it was a heavier track coming off the last song, which was a softer song, more stripped down. With this track, I felt like it was a great way to build back up the energy in the album. I thought it was a good track, and I thought Pete's vocals were very aggressive in the track. Track number 8 is entitled The Damned. This was one of their better tracks on the album. I definitely like the bass within this track. To me, it sounded like earlier Chevelle material when I listened to it. The bass and guitar overall, they stood out more than anything else within the song. I like how at the 2:29 mark, when Pete is doing his vocals, it kind of sounds like drowning and also singing his vocals at the same time. From the 2:45 mark to the 3:07 mark, I was just in my zone during that part. I like when Pete does the vocals. How tricked were we? Track number 9 is entitled Under the Knife. I like Pete's vocals during the 28-second mark of the track. I love how he says swallowed you whole. I feel like catchy with the way his vocals were done during that part. Overall, it had a great chorus. Track number 10 is entitled Twinge. Definitely love the vocals in this track. I felt like this was Chevelle's experimental track. It doesn't sound like too much Chevelle material that I've heard. I like what was done with the guitar. It kind of sounded like real spacey. The guitar really stood out within the track. The song was mainly stripped down like One Ocean, which was an earlier track on the album. And I felt like even with that track, they really experimented. Since the song sounded so light, it definitely made the vocals and guitar stand out within the track, and also the drums as well. Felt like Chevelle was really experimenting with this track, and I definitely thought it was a great experiment. And it turned out to be one of the best tracks on this album. But overall, there were 10 tracks on this album, definitely a good Chevelle album. It wasn't their best album, wasn't their worst album, but was definitely better than the last album. If you did get this album, what was your favorite track? What was your least favorite track? Where do you see Chevelle going from here? I know they've been putting out quite a few albums for a long time now. And you know, some bands, they kind of die out after putting so many albums out, but Chevelle, it seems like they're still running strong. So since they are one of my favorite bands, you know, it's always good to see, and I've seen them live quite a few times, and they always put on a great show when they perform. If you are a Chevelle fan, where would you rank this album among your other Chevelle albums? If you did get this album, how did you get it? Did you download it from iTunes? Did you get the physical CD? Did you get the deluxe edition? But overall, share your thoughts, and until next time, this has been Jacob Rob AJ, and I'll see ya.